Welcome back to My Life on a GLP1, the podcast where we dive into the real talk about weight loss medications. I'm your host, Scott Johnson. Today we are discussing probably the most talked about subject in all of the online forums, but putting a unique twist on it. With me as always is my co-host, Sarah.
Hi everyone, I guess I am the co-host who clearly has too much time to overthink every aspect of this journey.
And speaking of overthinking, today's topic has literally kept Sarah up at night, and probably most, if not all of you.
Oh god, yes. Injection sites. Where to inject, when to inject, how to rotate, whether my left thigh is somehow superior to my right thigh for weight loss.
Right.
I've basically turned my body into a GPS grid system, Scott. I have zones, quadrants, rotation schedules. I'm like a flight controller managing injection traffic.
And you're not alone in this madness. The GLP1 community has some serious theories about injection sites. People swear their belly injections work better than their thigh injections.
Exactly. I read this whole thread where someone claimed their stomach shots gave them better appetite suppression than their arm shots.
Yeah, totally.
And then I spent 3 hours researching subcutaneous fat distribution and absorption rates like I'm preparing for medical school.
Well, I hate to break it to you and everyone listening, but I've got some disappointing news about all that research.
Oh no.
The injection site doesn't actually affect your weight loss results at all. The medication gets absorbed into your bloodstream regardless of whether you inject in your stomach, thigh, or upper arm.
Wait, what? You're telling me all my color-coded injection charts are basically useless?
For weight loss effectiveness? Pretty much. The clinical trials that got these medications approved didn't show any difference in outcomes based on injection site. Your GLP1 works the same whether it's in your belly fat or your thigh fat.
Okay, you have my attention.
The 3 FDA recommended areas were each studied extensively for safety and absorption characteristics. In clinical trials, 70% injected into their abdomen, 20% into their thigh, and 10% into their arm.
Right. So the stomach provides reliable, predictable absorption with minimal discomfort for most users. The generous amount of subcutaneous tissue in this area makes it forgiving for injection technique.
The thigh is easy to access while seated, good subcutaneous tissue depth, and a viable option when the abdomen needs rest. This site works particularly well for people who prefer to sit during their injection or who need a break from abdominal injections.
The upper arm provides a useful rotation option and can be less visible for people concerned about injection marks on areas exposed by clothing and can sometimes be tricky to administer alone.
This is the question everyone wants answered definitively. So here's the answer. No high-quality study has ever demonstrated that injection site location affects weight loss outcomes from GLP-1 therapy. Your stomach will not accelerate your results. Your thigh will not slow your progress. Your upper arm does not unlock any hidden benefits. Weight loss with GLP-1 medications is driven by the systemic drug action throughout your entire body, not by injection geography.
In the landmark clinical trials, Surmount for Mounjaro and Step for Wegovy, participants achieved mean weight reductions, regardless of where they injected their medication. The variation in absorption between different sites is simply too small to influence long-term outcomes because these medications build cumulative levels in your body over weeks.
Of course, there is all the anecdotal stories where people say, "Oh, I get the best suppression from the arm," and we will get to that. But all of this doesn't mean injection site rotation isn't important. It absolutely is, just not for the reasons people think.
Okay, now I'm listening, because my injection sites have been getting tender, and I was worried I was somehow doing it wrong.
Right, exactly. Rotation is about comfort and preventing complications. When you inject in the same spot repeatedly, you can develop something called lipohypertrophy.
Lipo? What?
Lipohypertrophy. It's basically a buildup of fatty tissue at the injection site that creates these lumps under your skin. Not dangerous, but not comfortable either.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
Plus, scar tissue can build up and make injections more painful. So rotation is really about keeping yourself comfortable week after week.
So what's a simple rotation strategy that doesn't require a PhD in anatomy?
Keep it simple. Pick 2 or 3 sites that work for you and alternate weekly. Abdomen one week, thigh the next. Within each site, just move the injection spot around a bit each time.
That's it? No complex algorithms?
That's it. You don't need to measure distances or create injection site spreadsheets. Just don't inject in the exact same spot every time, and you'll be fine.
This is so much simpler than what I've been doing. I literally have a notebook where I track injection sites like a map.
And you're not alone. The GLP1 community has turned injection site tracking into an art form. People are out here creating detailed maps of their bodies like they're planning a military operation.
Right, exactly.
But here's the thing, that obsessive tracking might actually be counterproductive. When you stress about finding the perfect injection site, you're creating anxiety around something that should just be routine healthcare.
You're calling me out so hard right now.
The bottom line is this: pick a site that's comfortable for you. Rotate periodically to avoid irritation, and don't overthink it. Your medication will work just fine whether you inject in grid pattern A7 or just wing it each week.
This is both relieving and slightly embarrassing. I spent so much mental energy on something that doesn't even matter for results. So, we talked about the trials saying it doesn't impact weight loss in certain sites, but is there science behind this?
There is. Bear with me because this gets a little too sciencey even for me. Understanding what happens beneath your skin when you inject helps explain why site rotation matters for safety even when it does not affect results. Research shows that subcutaneous drug absorption occurs primarily through lymphatic vessels for larger molecules like GLP1 medications. The drug first diffuses through the fatty tissue, then enters either blood capillaries or lymphatic vessels before reaching systemic circulation. Factors influencing absorption include subcutaneous blood flow at the injection site, with increased blood flow accelerating drug uptake through expanded capillary networks. Temperature, physical activity, and local tissue health all influence blood flow and thus absorption rates.
Speak in plain English, Scott. What does that mean?
GLP-1 medications are specifically engineered to maintain stable therapeutic levels despite these variables. A comprehensive review of GLP-1 receptor agonists emphasized that these medications work best when administered consistently according to prescribing guidelines, regardless of injection site. The medication's design accounts for normal variability in absorption between different body areas. The key is not finding the perfect injection site, but rather maintaining consistent timing and proper rotation to prevent complications. Your body adapts to the medication over time, building stable therapeutic levels that drive the metabolic changes responsible for weight loss.
All right, I'm officially retiring my injection site spreadsheet.
So, if we are keeping it real, injection sites matter for skin health, comfort, and preventing complications like lipohypertrophy. They do not change your weight loss results or limit medication effectiveness. The science is clear on both points.
Got it. So basically, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and try not to turn your body into a GPS map.
The online GLP-1 community is absolutely obsessed with injection site debates, despite most acknowledging that the science says it doesn't matter. People report wildly varying personal experiences that directly contradict each other. Some swear that injecting in their stomach gives them worse nausea, while others claim thigh injections make them feel sicker. Many TikTok creators and Reddit users have developed elaborate theories about stomach injections causing faster absorption and more intense side effects, or thigh injections being gentler but slower. You'll find countless posts with people mapping their bodies like GPS coordinates, tracking which quadrant gave them the best weak or worst side effects.
I have gone down that rabbit hole so many times. I guess the bottom line is everyone is unique. And it could be some mind over matter, or really just influenced by what you eat and drink each week and your level of activity. Key advice is consistency. And speaking of consistency, I always like to encourage you, our listeners, to take a moment and drop us a comment or leave our podcast a 5-star rating as a holiday gift to us. Tell us, Scott, what final advice do you have to share today?
The studies say your medication is doing the same job in your body, regardless of whether you inject in your abdomen, thigh, or upper arm. You may agree or have different personal results. What matters is that you are actually taking it regularly, rotating sites to maintain healthy tissue, and giving your body the consistent therapeutic levels it needs to drive sustainable weight loss. Remember, 12% of us are on these medications and are living the largest clinical study. Who knows? New results may come forward over time. So, on behalf of Sarah, I'm Scott Johnson reminding you to focus on maintaining healthy tissue, be consistent, and always remember to love your journey.